Writing in a scholarly or academic voice is all about presenting your work in a credible light, one which informs, educates, and ultimately persuades the reader to accept your work based on the strength of that credibility. Problem is, far too many academics and their accolades seem to think that good academic writing is all about assaulting the reader in a barrage of, multisyllabic jargon couched in sentences of breathtaking complexity. Writers who practice this particular form of torment aren't doing so to help inform or educate the reader. They want to weaponize boredom. They are actually trying to baffle you with bull and impress the ignorant. Ultimately, they just want your eyes to glaze over and accept any dubious conclusions that they might offer up. Yeah, I feel kind of strongly about this. I'm Dr. Lon Schiffbauer, and this is how to write in a scholarly voice. Okay, let's do this. Here are some things you can do to improve your scholarly writing. First, writing clear, concise sentences. There's a propensity out there to confuse sentence length and complexity with intelligence and quality. This often results in long, convoluted, run-on sentences, some as many as 50 or 60 words. It's an abomination. Granted, some of the things that you're going to be writing about and discussing are very complex, very complicated, but that doesn't mean that your writing needs to be equally complex or complicated. Keep it clear, keep it simple, keep it direct. Okay, number 2, use the appropriate terminology particular to your area of study. The words and phrases that you use will telegraph to the reader whether or not you know what you're talking about or if you're faking it. For example, my wife works in the medical industry, specifically with spines and the nervous system. As an MSRS radiological technologist, she takes all kinds of images, like flex-X odontoid oblique lumbars. Sounds pretty cool, right? Well, if you work in the medical profession, you know that what I just said is a bunch of sophomoric medical jargon. And that in truth, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And you'd be right. A credible research article uses the correct terminology in the correct way. Nothing fancy, no razzle-dazzle. Okay, number 3, properly source your facts and assertions. There's perhaps no surer way to deep six your own academic credibility than by building your research and your work on opinions, speculation, and outright erroneous claims. It's important that all of your references, all of the work you cite, are from good, solid, peer-reviewed journals and respected publications. After all, you're hinging your credibility on theirs. Number 4, maintain objectivity. Obviously, you enjoy your topic, otherwise you wouldn't be writing about it or researching it. However, you want to make sure that you don't fall prey to terms and phrases that kind of show a bias on your part. Let's do a little bit of a deep dive in what I mean by terms and phrases that reveal bias on your part. For example, sweeping generalizations. Phrases like, everyone knows that, or most people believe that. Commentary. Phrases like, it's obvious that, or this is the most important. Emotional declarations. Phrases such as, it is morally criminal that, or it is heartbreaking to think of. By avoiding these sort of subjective outbursts, you're establishing your work on much firmer ground. Number 5, write in the third person in most cases. This means instead of saying I or you or we refer to ourselves in the third person, the author, the researcher. Now, I understand it feels awkward at first, but trust me, you'll get used to it and eventually it'll become second nature. Number 6, avoid slang, clichés, and casual language. Granted, this video and this guide is a very poor example of scholarly writing. Deep six, whatever. Still, when it comes to your writing, you want to avoid this sort of casual language. Number 7, avoid gender bias. You'll want to be comfortable with phrases like him or her or he and she instead of calling out an individual as he or she distinctly. Now, in some cases, your instructor may say that you can use they as a singular pronoun, and in fact, APA 7 recognizes they as a singular pronoun. So, as always, in all cases, follow your instructor's instructions. Number 8, use active rather than passive voice. Passive voice is often used to kind of indirectly approach a topic. It's often used when a writer is unsure of what is happening or how to state conclusions. Active voice, on the other hand, is much more clear, much more direct. Now, if you're not sure what I mean by active or passive voice, go ahead and visit Purdue OWL. They explain the idea very well. There's a link to it in the description below. Number 9, use correct grammar and spelling. Now, yes, this is obvious, right? But don't just kind of pass it off. It's amazing how quickly somebody will call your credibility into question if your spelling or grammar is half-ass. It suggests a certain lack of attention to detail, and they're going to think, well, wow, if he or she didn't pay attention when writing this thing, did they really pay attention when designing the study or when conducting the interviews or processing or analyzing the data? You don't want them to think any of these things. And really, once a reader starts to find one or two little errors in your spelling or grammar, they're no longer reading your paper. They're no longer looking at your research or considering the findings. They're really kind of turning it into a Where's Waldo exercise, looking for mistakes, looking for errors. You don't want them going there. And so there you go. Follow these steps and you'll develop a great academic scholarly voice, one that will really help boost your academic career. All right? Hope this was helpful. We'll talk to you again soon. In the meantime, have a fantastic day.